So today for our lesson, we are going to be talking about word problems.
Oh, word problems.
Now, the past few lessons we've been reviewing your understanding of positive and negative integers and the rules.
Yeah.
And also the last lesson we focused on order of operations.
Oh, yeah.
Those things you've done really well at, and you showed me that you have a good understanding.
Yeah.
But sometimes where it can get really confusing is when they all come together in word problems, right? Aren't word problems tricky sometimes?
Yeah.
They can be long, it can be hard to understand or picture what's going on. So we're going to focus on that today.
Yeah.
And the expectations for the class are that you would stay focused.
Yes.
And I know that this is sometimes like the trickiest material.
Yeah.
So if you need a break, just let me know. We can take a pause.
Yeah.
And then you can come back. So let's keep the watch over on the side.
There.
And you can keep your pencil here. The first thing we're going to do is warm up your brain.
Oh, yeah. Warm up.
And just like we've done before,
Sorting positive and negative again.
we are going to be sorting. And these are words here that I've shuffled up. These are words that you will often see in word problems.
Oh, and we're sorting them in positive and negative.
Exactly. So it's not always going to be positive or negative, but whichever makes the most sense to you, I want you to see if you can sort them.
Oh, just sort them?
Yep.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Well, now we're just sorting words instead of numbers.
Exactly.
Now decreasing is very negative because you're going down.
Yeah, very good.
And
Decreasing
then
is
increasing will
negative.
go here. Okay, this is easy. Which
Good.
means I set up and down. So down will go here, and up
Mhm.
will go here. Whoop, got
Good.
that.
Just another way of saying decreasing.
Now let's see. Loss will go over here because that's negative, and then gaining will go here.
Good.
And this is pretty easy. Well,
Awesome.
I'm gonna get you over here. Gotta get that here and that
Descend,
there.
more,
And then
earn.
this one will go here because
Very good.
this is pretty easy. There we
Exactly.
go. There we go.
Awesome.
There's a lot more positives than we have negatives.
Interesting. So we have increase, up, gained, more, earned, and ascend. What does ascend mean?
I don't know.
I think it means like go up,
Yeah, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
decrease, down. I think they're actually the same. They're just spread out a little bit more. And spent, like spending money.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So that would be negative.
Yeah.
Very good. So we're going to be talking about these words and we're going to practice seeing them in word problems. And one thing that I want to start talking about as we connect this to our word problems and we're going to practice them together is the most important thing I think to remember about these words is that although these are like keywords and you can think of them as positive or negative, they're not like magical keywords.
Yeah, they're not
So,
magical.
yeah, some people think, oh, I see the word spent. Now I know exactly how to solve the problem.
yeah,
I
so
have
wait.
to subtract.
So wait, these are keywords to look for in the problem.
They are, but when you're using keywords like this, you always have to look at the big picture too.
Oh, the big picture.
Exactly. If you look just at the keyword, it might trick
Oh,
you.
let's look at big picture.
Very
Got
good.
it.
So the keywords are to help us fit together the big picture.
Oh, I see.
So these are our keywords, but we're always going to look for more than one keyword if we can.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the big question
Okay.
and the big picture.
Yeah.
So first let's look at this question I wrote on the board.
You wrote one?
Let's look at this. On spring break, Miss Patterson went on a hot air
Why
balloon.
is Miss Patterson?
Well, I thought she would like to go on a hot air balloon. So
Yeah.
Miss Patterson went on a hot air balloon. At first, the balloon only went up 80 feet, but she decided she wanted a bit more excitement, so she went up 45 more feet. How high did she go altogether?
Oh, that's a key word right there. You have to add it.
Altogether, very good. So this is a key word. Let's look at the other keywords so we can get the big picture.
Okay, well we know the big question is how high did she go altogether?
Very good. Now when we are
That's the big
reading these
question.
problems, we're going to underline
The question.
the big question,
Yeah,
and we're going to circle the important
well, we know
information.
it only went up 80 feet at first.
Good. So we are going to circle up 80 feet.
And then she went up 45 more feet.
So up 45 more.
There we go.
So I've circled the important information, and we know that up 45 is positive.
Yeah.
I mean, up 80 is
And up
positive
45
80.
is positive. Wait, up! Those are keywords too.
Yeah, so we have up, and we have up, and we have more. So
Yeah, so-
what is the big picture of this? problem.
A big picture, right? We always make a picture like all the hot air balloons are in the sky.
Yeah, and actually sometimes if it's hard to understand what the problem's about, you can always draw a picture.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually going to draw a little picture here. I'm going to use a darker marker because the yellow is a little bit hard to see. Say we have this hot air balloon. It's not going to be
Miss
pretty.
Patterson inside.
And we're going to put Miss Patterson inside, right there. She's got her hands up and she's excited.
Yeah.
So here's our hot air
Now
balloon.
let's put it at 80 feet because it went up 80 feet at first.
So we've got 80 feet.
And then it went up 45 more feet.
And then it went up 45 more.
So wait, we just have to add 80 plus 45 to get our answer.
Very good. The last step, so what we did, we circled our important information.
Oh, I see.
We underlined our question.
We're practicing evaluating word problems.
Exactly, we're evaluating it. And then we looked at the big picture. We even drew a picture.
And
to
now
help
we
us.
solve it.
Yes, and before we solve it, we're going to write out the equation.
It's 80 plus 45.
80 plus 45 equals, and can you add that in your head?
In my head.
Or do you want to, let's see, if we have 80 plus 40, 8 plus 4 is what? What's 8 plus 4?
12.
12. So we have 120, 125.
Oh yeah, 125.
So 80 plus 45 is 125.
And feet.
Oh, and yes, we need to include the units. So she went up 125 feet all together. And if we wanted to draw the big question, we could have drawn a question mark for this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we could write 125 feet.
Nice.
So this is the process that we're going to use to practice. We're going to look for our keywords, but we're also going to look at the big picture.
Oh, I see.
And I want us to work through some problems together
Oh, so
on
you
this
made a
sheet of
sheet?
paper.
You made
Yeah.
it, didn't you?
We have a worksheet that I made.
And you put the rules up here.
Yeah, so
You
I think I wrote the same words here that we just talked about.
Yeah.
It says circle the important information.
Yeah, and look, you can't forget to double check.
Yes, so when we double check, we would look at this one and say, okay, we added together how much she had gone and then how much she went
Yeah.
more. Does it make sense that we got a bigger number?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she
And we
went
answered
up
the question.
higher. So we always double check, did it make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I've got this now.
So let's do number one. Ryan earned $50 mowing the grass for his neighbors so that he could have money for bowling. But he had to spend $15 on school supplies. How much money does he have left for
So I'm
bowling?
working for these together, huh?
Yes.
So spend, that's a word, because you lose
Uh-huh.
money. That's negative right there.
And also, when you see a word, make sure you circle the number next to it. So he spent $15.
And right there, that's negative.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look, earning 50. That's positive right there.
Very good. So if that's a positive, you can make a note of that.
Now under on the big question.
What's the big question?
How much money does he have left for bowling?
Very
That's
good.
the question.
Uh-huh. How much money does he have left for bowling?
Now we have to use the important information and write our equation. So we have 50, which he earned,
Uh-huh.
and we take away 50, and we take away the 15 that he
Mhm.
lost. Oh, so we're subtracting in
Very
this
good. So what is 50
Because he
minus
wants to know how much he
15?
has left.
Very good. So left is a good keyword to look at.
Yeah, because you have to subtract these two.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can work this part out, but you gotta borrow on this one. Okay, there, $35.
35. Excellent.
And now we have to double check.
Mhm.
We answered the question, and it makes sense that he has $35 left.
So
For
yeah,
bowling.
if he started out with $50
Uh-huh.
and then he spent some of it, does it make sense that he would have less than he did before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and now I'll just circle the answer and
Very
there.
good. And we didn't have to draw a picture for that one because it's talking about money, and you could draw a picture, but you were able to do it in your head and
now
write a
let's
good
move
equation.
down here.
Number 2.
Let's see.
You want to read that one out loud?
I guess the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius at 10 a.m. Wow, 10 degrees. That's really cold.
Very cold.
But it decreases at 15 degrees Celsius over the next hour. What is the temperature at 11 a.m.? Hey, decrease. That's a word.
Good. And what number does it go with?
It goes with
What I mean in the problem, it decreases by
by
15.
and it goes with negative because that's negative.
Uh-huh.
And it started at 10.
Good.
And this is the big question. What is the temperature at 11 a.m.? So it started at 10 and it went down 15.
Mhm.
Another subtraction problem.
Very good.
So now I'll just take that and I gotta borrow this one.
Okay.
This one will have to turn into a 10, I guess. Now we just subtract that, and there we go. 95 degrees Celsius.
So now we have to ask ourselves, does that make sense?
Yeah, because it was 10, but then it went down 15.
So how can it be 95?
Wait, that's bigger.
Let's look at your math. So you did
I have to borrow.
10 minus 15. What do you notice about that, 10 minus 15?
You can't.
It's actually bigger. You're subtracting something bigger. So something is, this is where it might be helpful
To draw a picture.
to draw a picture.
A big picture.
Maybe a thermometer.
Yeah, thermometer. And then we have to put the temperatures on there.
So if we are starting out at, let's say this is 10 degrees.
And then it goes down 15.
Goes down 15. What would happen if we go down 10 degrees?
It would be 0.
It would be 0. So let's say 0 is here. How much more do we have to go down after 10?
5 more.
5 more. So what would this one be? What's 5 below 0?
Well, negatives are always below 0, so it's negative 5.
Good. And this is where you remember the things we've been practicing about positive and negative numbers.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense because it's smaller than the starting
Very
temperature.
good. So this is why it's so important to ask ourselves, does it make sense? And you were able to catch that it doesn't make sense because it's bigger, right?
Yeah.
So drawing a picture helped us with this because
Yeah.
we see that we went down 15
Yeah.
and it brought us to negative 5.
Wait a minute, Mrs. Pepper.
Do you know Miss Pepper?
Where's that from?
I don't know where it's from. I just made it up.
I think it's from the show Blue's Clues.
Oh, I love Blue's
Why
Clues.
are you putting that in there?
All right, well,
Okay,
let's
she
focus
weighed
on the
150
math.
pounds and decided to go on a diet. Lost. That's a key word right there. And you know that she weighed 150.
Good.
She lost 10 pounds. And
Uh-huh.
Mom, just by
Very
cutting out
good.
soda for her meals, how much did she weigh at the end of the month?
So remember to underline your big question.
Yeah, this is the big question. And now she started at 150 because that's how much she weighed at the beginning.
Very
Then
good.
she lost 10.
Good job.
So now I'll just take 150, take away 10, and we can subtract that because it's bigger from smaller.
Very good.
So now we'll just, and there are the noisy kids. Noisy kids
Yeah,
coming
there's
back.
the sixth grade. So we're going to try to tune them out and stay focused.
Look, 140.
Uh-huh.
140 and it's pounds. Or
Very
LB.
good.
Yes.
Very good. I love how you wrote out your
And that makes
equation.
sense because it's smaller than 150.
So she weighed less, and you wrote out your units, and you double-checked your work. That is awesome.
Yes.
So let's move on to this one. And also, let's make a note of this. When we saw Miss Pepper, and it was kind of funny, it's funny to laugh about together. But remember, there might be things in a problem that are funny or distracting.
Yeah, I see.
And it's important to focus on the math that we
Yeah.
see.
Now let's get up here.
Very
The
good.
school softball team had 5 points after the first inning. 5 points, that's really good. But we're able to gain 2 more. So gain 2 more.
Good.
How many in the game? How many points did they have in the end? So that's a big question.
Good underline.
It should be easy. It's just 5
Uh-huh.
plus 2 more points is 7 points.
Very good.
And it makes sense because it's bigger than what it started
And they
with.
gain points.
So they had 7 points at the end of the game. That was easy.
Awesome job.
I'm getting there.
You are. You're doing great. It's good, and I know some of these are kind of easy, but it's good to practice with easy problems so you're more comfortable with the
Look,
strategies.
a hot air balloon one again.
A hot air balloon.
Start on the
Uh-huh.
ground. So start at 0. Just
Very
0
good.
on
You
the
know
ground.
the ground is 0.
That. So it's at 200 feet. So now it's at 200 feet in the first hour. Then in our hour it descended 50. That's negative right there. And we know it's at 200. How high was the balloon after 2 hours? That's the question. We'll underline that. And now the 200 minus. Oh no, my pencil.
Oh, did your pencil break? Let's see. I think we have an extra one right over here. We can sharpen that one in a minute, but for now you can borrow this one.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Great. Now where was I? Oh yes. 200 minus 50. Now we'll get that. Gotta borrow that. Okay. 150. So 150 feet. And it makes sense that it was smaller than what they started with.
Very good. So good job looking and pointing out those key words, looking for your big picture.
Now I understand. Alright, now this is submarine one.
Another
I thought
submarine.
that negative 70? This sounds a little tricky.
Okay.
Be under the surface of the ocean. Under. That means it's under the ocean, it's negative. But it's under the
Very
ocean.
good. So
But then it said that 30 more feet, so it went down more feet. How deep was the submarine after he said it? That's the question. Now, there's a negative in here.
There is. And remember, if you need to draw a picture to help you
Here, let's draw a
picture it.
submarine.
Yeah, so we have the ocean.
And there's a submarine under there.
Very good. What do you think the ocean, what would be the value of the surface of the ocean?
0.
0, just like the ground. So
Now, a submarine goes under the ocean.
how deep is the submarine?
Negative 70.
So it's at negative 70, and I'm just going to draw what I think a submarine looks like. So this one is 70 feet under.
Or negative 70. But then it goes down 30 more feet.
So it goes down 30 more feet. What is that? What number is it going down? How would we write that?
Well, this is a positive 30 right here.
And it's descending positive. What does descending mean?
Going down.
So we're going down.
Negative
30.
30.
Good. So how would you solve that problem?
So wait, these are both negatives, so we can just take 70 and minus the 30.
Good. So I like how you saw that, although you're minusing the 30, notice how your signs are the same.
You have to add them. 100. 100 feet. And that makes sense because it's bigger than what they started with.
It is bigger, but is it positive 100 feet or is it negative 100 feet?
Negative 100. And it makes sense because it's a lot smaller.
It's deeper, right?
Yeah, it's deeper than how they
So
started.
if we had said 100, that would have meant it would have gone up above the water, but it's a submarine, so.
It doesn't go up above the water.
No. So that's why it's important to ask. This is also where it's good that we're practicing this because the rules that you remembered really well when we were learning about positive and negative numbers, it's easy to forget them in word problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow, if we get time, this was great practice on your own, and I think you've gotten a lot stronger in your ability to analyze and evaluate these word problems. But maybe tomorrow, if we get time, we can play a Kahoot game to practice this some more.
Oh, speaking of Kahoot, we are supposed to put me in a ghost with the one we played yesterday.
Yes, so we're going to try to do that too. And let's finish up this lesson for now, though.
Yeah.
And so you see how we practice this. What do you think were some of the most important things that we practiced today?
Important things? Well, important things. Well, it was important that I remembered the rules of positive and negative numbers. They came in handy.
Very good. Those came in handy, and you remembered that you learned that it's easy to forget them, so you have to remind yourself.
Yeah.
What is one of the things we did as we evaluated the word problems that you think you like the most?
Well, we double checked our answer to make sure it was correct.
Very good. So double checking your answer, asking yourself if it makes sense. That's a great strategy to have. Is there anything else?
And we found the important information to help us solve the problem.
Yeah, not just our keywords, but all the important information.
Hey, I really got this.
Very good. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that
So I guess now is exit ticket time.
It is. Now it's exit ticket time, so thank you for doing this along with me.
Yeah.
And before we end today's lesson, I do have an exit ticket for you.
You made it?
For this one,
so it's just deciding if it's positive.
yeah, so it's saying for each of the following words or phrases, decide if it is positive value or a negative value by circling the correct letter.
That should be easy.
So just draw a line to match it and do your best.
Just draw a line, but it says to circle it.
Oh, yeah, you can circle it, sorry.
Circle it.
I got confused about which one it was.
Yeah, circling them. But it's easy to know once I draw a line. Your
Yeah.
professor's going to be happy with these videos we're making.
I think so, because you're doing an excellent job.
I am? I guess I am.
I know it can be frustrating to practice the same things over and over again.
Hey, look.
but you are doing
That was
really
easy
great.
because those words helped me.
Very good. So this is just practice with your keywords, and you were able to match positive and negative. So awesome job.
Thanks.
And tomorrow we're going to review this a little bit more and hopefully have a game to play Kahoot. So thank you very much, Addie. You were great today.